Hello and welcome to episode 14 of the Renault Master Camper Conversion. In this episode we're going to be building cupboards alongside the bed, and we're going to start here by putting the sides in. It's going to be a bit of a difficult job because of the shape of the walls, but we want to use the maximum space we've got here, so we'll be putting our cupboards into the cavities and using the full space we've got. What I'd done first was made a template and fitted it. It didn't fit perfectly, so I marked on where it needed to be added on. So it needed 15mm here. These lines, I cut it too wide here, so I marked where it was and here. And then I transferred it onto a piece of timber with the new lines, redrew it out and then fitted it in, trimmed it a little bit till it fitted. Now that this one fits, I use this as my template to make the other side. And then they're both gonna fit nicely now. So I'm gonna get that one cut and then I can get these two sides fitted in. So now my component is cut and scorched to give the same effect as the rest of the woodwork in the camper. It's ready to go in. This bit's a bit tricky. You can get it in at the top and then just sort of angle it in, slide it in and push it in. And it's a nice tight fit. There was a few gaps there. Like I said, we had to leave some gaps because it goes in at an angle. But that is that fitted. So I've just got to screw it in and finish it off, and that's done. And then I'm going to move on to the other side, which is already cut. I've just got to scorch it, and the back ones are slightly different, so I'm going to have to make a new template for them. The way I'm squaring up the rear cupboard walls is by putting a board across the cross rail up against the bed rail, and then I'm using a piece of timber that's the same thickness as that and just putting it up there, and I've marked along the back. I've also bought the cupboard walls 5mm forward, so they'll sit a little bit proud of the doors. So I've marked 5mm forward, and now I'm going to use the old template. I've adjusted it a little bit just so I can get it in there. So now I'm going to adjust this template and get it to fit in here. Then I'll make a new template because there's going to be gaps. Once I've got a new template, then I'll cut the two back walls and fit them. So I've made my new template now. It needs a little bit of adjusting, but when I draw it on the wood, because I can't adjust it now, there's a bit of a gap up there and little marks there. So I'll add it onto the wood when I make it. I'm going to make my first piece, test it, and if it's all good, then I'll make the second piece. Now this piece is ready. The template helped a lot, got a nice good fit. I'm going to get that screwed in and then move on to the other side. When I bought the van, I had all these strip lights in there. I've stuck this one here because I needed to remove it from the ceiling to put the ceiling up. So I've just stuck it there for the time being. I had them all stuck around the van. One I'm actually using up there, so it's wired in. But the other two, I thought I will put them in the cupboards. So they're in there. I've left a bit of slack on the cable there so we can get a switch in. And then the same over here. Well, there's going to be a box in here, so again I've got a bit of slack, but I can put the switch in the box in. The light's under there, and then I've just wired both of these together just using a butt connector. I'm also folding the cable over like that so I can get it tight in the butt connector. So because I've got two lights, so I've reduced them down to the butt connector and then into a 1.5mm cable, which goes here. So then I only need one fuse for the two cupboard lights. Although they're on different sides of the van, they're both the same thing. So I just have this one fuse for both of them. So I'm going to get this connected up. I'm also using heat shrink on there again. This one's already done, positive. So I didn't do this one yet. Just want to show you how I fold this over. And then into the butt connector, and I'll tighten it down, heat shrink it. Just gets my cables a bit more tidier. Now that the insulation is done in the back of the cupboard, I can carry on moving forward. So the first step would be to build my top shelf. And I'm using this piece of batten, but because this strut is a bit of an angle, I am having to cut this at an angle. So I've made this little piece, notched it in around all the little bits and bobs. And now I'm going to screw it in here. Do the same on the other side. And then I can put the first shelf in. I'm using these shelf retaining clips from Howden's to do the shelves in these wall cupboards. So you just got to drill a hole below the level of the shelf and then they just push in. I put the shelf in and I drew the lines about 35mm back from the front, marked it on the shelf and on the wall. I did have masking tape on there because it's been varnished. And then I drilled the hole, and now I've just got to drill a 9mm hole in this, and then that should clip in. I'm boxing these corners in here because it's the easiest thing to do, and there's cables in there. So I'm just going to do a straight batten. I'm not going to curve it, there's no need for it. Just glued a little block in the middle because it's a bit of a curve there. Still isn't quite enough, so I've got a bit of hardboard, which I'm gonna glue it like that, and then I'll nail that side and glue that hardboard over the front there to create the boxing. So that's how I've built it out. That little block in the middle, another bit of hardboard with a gap at the top and the bottom, so it's pretty flat now. And then my board will just press on there. And then I can nail it down here. And then all I got to do is just stick some of this foil over it, and then that's job done. I finished the boxing and put some insulation over it just so it blends in with the rest of the cupboard. I'm going to put some foil tape on the joints now just to make it look a bit neater. And I will be putting some timber across the face of here and insulating in here. I've also done this little piece up here, but I haven't insulated this because I want to put a piece of timber across the top here, finishing piece. This is where I'm at with the cupboards so far, and this is probably about as much as I'm going to do for now until I get back from my trip. So the mattress will be up here somewhere, so there's hinges on here so you can pull it towards the mattress. It comes all the way down, but it will sit against the mattress, and then you can get into this bit here. I don't know how I'm going to do the doors yet, but I don't need to worry about that. But for now it's usable, and then I've just got to do the same as this on the other side, and then I can fit the bed.